Welcome everyone. My today's topic we are discussing about the public corporation, nationalization and privatization. These two different things. Public corporation, right now mainly the public corporation definition is the business organization owned and controlled by the state or the government. Sometimes the public corporations they can some government try to sell their public state-owned businesses. That's why we call this you're selling them to the private sector. We call privatization. And sometimes the government can take a reverse decision. Sometimes there are private sector businesses, sometimes business organization which have some national importance. Sometimes they're gonna purchase. So that make a state-owned business. That's called the nationalizations. That's normally today my main topic. We talk about discuss already the features of public corporation, and then reasons for the public ownership. Right, 5 reasons for public ownership, and also the disadvantage of the public ownership businesses. So today, my main focus is to talk about the public corporation nationalization and the privatization. So public corporations have a separate legal existence through their Act of Parliament. Normally, they have a separate legal existence. Therefore, even the changing of the government or changing of the minister or something not affected to the long-term survival of the business. Because governments are coming and going. They are normally coming for a period of 5 years. So after 5 years, they have to vacate the office. It's called the democracy. But time to time, what happened? The private sector, but not like private sector, government sector normally always dynamic. Leaders are changing, political policies are changing. Therefore, there are some different changes can be happen. So one changes can be happen is sometimes government might thinking of sometimes get rid of these private public organizations because sometimes it's loss making. Sometimes it will be have a huge budget problem. Budget deficit will create as a result of this. So they want to sell this kind of a inefficient public state businesses. They want to sell. They're called privatization. So normally we talk about their objective while influence the commercial consideration often emphasize social aspect. They normally have financial targets to achieve, which are target return on capital employed. A public corporation is controlled by its government minister and through the board appointed by the minister and by consumer council protecting the consumer interest or through being audited by the competition commission. So in case of in Sri Lankan context, if you talk about, it is owned by a government minister and then appointed by the minister and director board, and then consumer council protecting consumer interest. Yes, we have a consumer affair authority to protect the consumer of interest, and also this government accounts, this financial account side of the business, the government, state department, ministries were controlled by the Auditor General Department. They are the one who auditing. They call in UK called Competition Commission. Audited by here we call is Audit Superintendent Department. That's also another department for company auditing all the government sector. Nationalization. So we are talking first of all the nationalization concept. The nationalization takes an industry into public ownership. That's what happened. They are taking industry into public ownership. Industries such as coal, gas, the railway were nationalized following the Second World War. By the end of 1970, this is a historical indication, because they feel that this kind of thing, coal, gas, energy industry, and also railway, transportation industry have a national influence. National security is keeping those kind of strategic industries under private sector, which creates one unnecessary unsecurity for the government and the people. Because if it's private sector, they want, they can stop their production, stop the railway, they can stop the gas supply. Then there will be a huge problem. Sometimes will be impact for the entire country. Therefore, sometimes this strategic business organization which has a national interest, such as energy industry, transportation industry, medicine industry, education, some this kind of industry, they're gonna nationalize and they keep the state control, because they can actually continuously they can provide the service to the nation, right? So this was 1970s. We can see after Second World War they have taken. However, many nationalized industries were regarded inefficient and over subsidized monopoly. Lacking competition and being in a position of exploit their monopoly status, the government response was to privatize. So privatization is opposite of the nationalization. Sometimes if you have a feeling that some organizations have a lack of efficiency, sometimes lack of competition. They don't have a kind of a sometimes loss making continuously. Sometimes government might taking a policy decision. Okay, it is time to give nationalize organization to privatize, give into the private towns. Private investors, sometimes foreign investors are waiting to buy this industry. So in this way, government also can earn a revenue, and also they can get rid of the loss-making situation. So therefore, it's healthier for the government budget, the government income. Always tax income should be, they could manage all the expenses through the tax income. Sometimes some organizations they are huge loss-making. Sometimes in order to make the company run, and then sometimes the government always has to take the bank loans, and so many financial burden will be there. So therefore, a lot of government, they are going to very trade liberalization policies. As a result, the government becomes only just a watchdog, and then they actually do the regulation and the facilitating part, but the operation part they are sold out to the private sector. We can see even Sri Lanka, also most of the countries, these government properties they are selling. Even there are so many opposition parties, they are shouting about this thing, but normally you can see sometimes energy industries, sometimes some water power plants, energy plants, sometimes I think recently they have given some kind of oil tanks. Sometimes this, especially you can see the harbors, these organizations, they can give it to the private towns. They are offering tenders and everything geographically. So people who are like capable people from India, people from China, America, so they are going to invest here because it's a viable investment opportunity. They also can earn a profit. So privatization means a situation we can see properly where you're giving more than 50% of the stake to the private town in the business organization. 51%, like 50%, more than 50% you are giving to the private sector. Therefore, they have the controlling right, and the government becomes the minority shareholder. So majority shareholder, the authority will be vested with the private. That's called the privatization happen. So the definition of the privatization, you can see here, the transfer of public sector services to the private sector. Transfer of public sector services to the private sector, we call privatization. There are different forms of privatization, such as, sale of public corporation, deregulation, contracting out, and the sale of land and property. In the first case, sale of public corporation is normally through the share market. You are selling shares to the private sector. For example, Sri Lankan Telecom is like that. Telstra in Australia is like that. So it's previously owned by the government, but they give more than 50% stake to the private sector business person, and then it can be foreign businesses, local businesses. So they buy the business organization more than 50% of the stake, and they are the controllers after that. That's called the sale of public corporation. This can be partly or full. Sometimes government giving 40% stake, sometimes 60% stake. That's decided by the government how much stake you can sell. Second one is the deregulation. Deregulation means lifting legal restrictions that prevented private sector competition. This is a way of not like giving this first case. What happened? They are giving legally. Legally, you are selling shares and you are giving the ownership of the business to private sector. That's the legal way. But this is a deregulation. We are reducing the law, reducing the legal restrictions to encourage private sector to enter into the market. For example, lifting legal restrictions that prevent private sector competition. For example, now imagine the government right now, the government doing the vaccination program. If the government giving the chance to private sector hospitals also, you also can have a vaccine program. For example, right now, the government decided, okay, this area, okay, we'll send Sinopharm. This area will send Pfizer vaccine. Imagine you're a person who likes to take the Moderna vaccine or Sputnik vaccine. So they must be able to go to a hospital and you can get your vaccination as you wish, right? But right now, what happened, like the regulation thing, okay, whatever the area, the government supply the stock, they are the one who provided the vaccination program. So it's not privatized, it's 100% controlled by the government, like a vaccination program. But I'm talking, imagine like some area, import licenses. Sometimes government not issuing import license for some areas, so private sectors. But here deregulation, what happened? You are giving the free trade opportunities. You can import anything, you can export anything like that. So government regulation, you are going to reduce. This is called a little bit liberalization of the trade conditions. So deregulation, lifting the legal restrictions that prevented private sector competition, right? And then third one is a contracting out. This is another way the government can do. They can, some parts of the business organizations, they can like a, including strategic business, for example, like a non-strategic purpose, like some area, for example, let's say in an organization, we can do the contracting. There are two types of BPO, business process outsourcing and the knowledge process outsourcing. This case, what happened, you're contracting, you're finding a third party, private sector contractor, and then telling you to, okay, you handle this service on contract. For example, if you see like Sri Lanka, for example, if you take the janitorial services like Colombo Municipal Council, they hire Abans company, you can see Abans Environmental Services to actually handle the Colombo city cleaning project. So they are private sector organization. They are doing more efficiently the city cleaning projects. They're using their workers, private sector workers. They're contracting out. Therefore, the municipal council doesn't have to pay the they don't have a labor cost, everything. Why? They are contracting out the Abans to manage the cleaning services. So Abans has to actually recruit everything, the workers, their payroll, everything. So for that contractual works, for the contracts, so Abans, they get paid by the Colombo Municipal Council every month for their services provided. Therefore, that's called the import. So therefore, it's a risk. Some organizations also like that. Sometimes security division, you outsource. Sometimes your janitorial, the cleaning section, you outsource. Your canteen, you can outsource. And you can focus on the mainly the important section in your business. Like that, the business outsourcing also same. And there's something called knowledge process outsourcing. Sometimes not the physical, like a process part, sometimes knowledge section. Sometimes you can entire marketing, promotion, sales department, you can outsource to another company. They can hire, okay, advertising, promotion campaigns. You can hire some kind of advertising agency. You can tell all the contracts, okay, you have to promote our business. This is our contract. Therefore, outside that contract organization, they will promote the business product in the supermarket door, outside door, above the line promotion, below the line promotion. The campaigns will be done by them. So like that, not process we can outsource entirely, like sometimes accounting section, right? The business bookkeeping section, sometimes secretary works, sometimes that call centers, we can outsource for other companies. Like that, so business, like sometimes payroll we can outsource. Like that, internally we can focus on our strategic businesses and we can outsource the less important activities, like secondary activities, to the outsource company. There are two methods of outsourcing, BPOs and KPOs, like janitors, security guard, hospital cleaning, canteens and everything. So we can take the example, say airline is owned by the government, imagine airline catering department, we can outsource catering services. We can give, because sometimes it's very difficult to government also handle everything. So we can hire third-party contractors. Okay, then we can give the third party like a subcontractors, and we can give those things to private sector arms. Okay, you do these things. For example, State Engineering Corporation is there, so they are responsible for the, let's say, construction on the mainly structure of the building. But the finishing part, sometimes tiling, air condition fixing, electronic system, computer packages, that one we can give to the private sector arms, private sector companies to handle those things. It's called the contracting on opportunity of the form of privatization. So I'm a little bit practical, because it's always, if you take everything 100% control, sometimes it's difficult. You don't have enough resources and specialization to do everything. Therefore, you always have to contracting out some of the work with specialized people, a specialized organization to do it effectively. And the last form of privatization is the sale of land and property. This is bad. And why I am saying this is bad, because if you sell your land and property, you are going to lose it forever. Right? Imagine sale of the council owned property to the tenants, like from Sri Lankan Gold Face Green, like that. Let's say you sold to Shangri-La Hotel, and that not only that, imagine the Colombo Port City project, right? We actually create artificial land there, and then we are creating a port city project. It's like a happening city now in the world, like the fastest growing city in the world, Colombo. Like that, so many projects are coming up, sometimes in Chinese projects, Indian projects. So these projects are selling land and property. Sometimes there's another form of privatization. Imagine in Trinco, there's oil tanks are there. Like that, so in every country, you talk about if you see the situation scenarios, there are so many ways of privatization. You can sell entire corporation to the share market by form of share issue or deregulation. You can allow the private sector to enter into the business, and they also can do the business. Contracting out, then you can actually deregulation. You can actually the government monopoly can be reduced. Contracting out method and sale of land and property. So what are the reasons for privatization? You might say, okay, now we know the main forms of privatization. What are the why reasons? There are given 4 reasons of the privatization to generate income to the government. This government having some huge financial problem, debt problem, to generate sufficient income, we need to privatize. To reduce inefficiency in the public sector. Sometimes public sector is very inefficient. We'll feel sometimes people criticizing inefficiency. It will take some time, delays happen. Investors are always discouraged to come and invest like that. If this happens, or the quality of services are not good, imagine let's say the catering service is not good, then you can contracting now, right? So like that, so reduce the inefficiency we can do. And also as a result of deregulation, sometimes World Bank, European Union, IMF, Asian Development Banks, like this influences companies, organizations are always giving some ideas. If you want to promote the trade, like the World Trade Organization, always they are going to give this recommendation, their suggestions to deregulate. Because if you have tight controls in the government, that means it's not a democracy. Democracy means you must give opportunities to the people to excel themselves, and then government must be there as a facilitator and the regulator. That's why sometimes tight regulations also not good for the business organizations. Therefore, you must give some freedom for them to operate in their capacity. And for last reason is to reduce the political interference. Some businesses, we need the freedom of thinking, like always if you have political involvement, political interference, the utmost objective of the business cannot be achieved, right? So therefore reduce the political influence. Sometimes we are going to do it, like contracting out and everything, a good example of that. So these are the main 4 methods of privatization, and these are the main 4 reasons of privatization, right? So now we have a mind map. You can see the features. We have 6 features. You have to write that 6 features, 5 advantages, 4 disadvantages, and 4 forms of privatization and 4 reasons of privatization. This is the main summary of the lesson. You can see we talk about today the 4 forms of privatization: sale of land and property, contracting out, right, and deregulation, sale of shares. And reason for privatization we talk about today. The reason of privatizations are to generate income, to reduce inefficiency as a result of deregulation, and also reduce the political influence. Right, now let's move on to some kind of a case study. Yesterday, actually, I talked about the case study number 1. This is the Uganda government, Uganda and the water supply situation. We talk about the features there, public sector. They have created by law, state funded, provide public services and everything. And activity 2 also we discussed SNFC group, the railway line of the France. That also after loss making they have been taken. You can see the project they have achieving this. We talk about that active number and also. So today we discuss the privatization. We discuss what is the main forms of privatization: sale of public corporation, deregulation, contracting out, and the sale of land and property. Why privatization take place? We talk about the main 4 reasons: to generate income, to reduce inefficiency in the public sector. People do privatization, and also as a method of deregulation, and also reduce the political interference, right? Because you can see the privatization revenue from the OECD countries. You can see from privatization, you can see France, that's the highest revenue earned by France, Italy, Germany, Japan, Turkey, Netherlands, Australia, UK, Finland, Sweden. You can see how much they earn out of the privatization, right? Okay, let's go to this case study, airport privatization case study, airport privatization case study, right? Right. Airport privatization case study number 2. Historically, government have preferred to keep the ownership of a business operating airports, right? Even Sri Lanka also say we have Air Lanka, but after that it turns to Emirates. Sri Lankan Airlines, now it called after privatization of the Sri Lankan Airlines. And they have been seen as a very important nation, and therefore in need to close state control. Even at recent 2006, only about 2% of the world airports were owned or managed by the private sector, 2%, right? However, in recent years, there has been a rapid growth of privatization of airports and airport facilities. For example, in 2014, the Indian Aviation Authority went ahead with the plans of sale of Sardar Patel International Airport, Ahmedabad, and also Brazil has also opted privatization airports. In 2013, Brazil government raised about 9.1 billion by privatizing two major airports ahead of the 2014 World Cup. More recently, in 2016, it was reported that Brazil wanted to raise a further 1.4 billion, 1,400 million by selling stake in 5 of its airports. The money is needed by Brazilian government to help reduce its budget deficit. They say the government is spending more than it earns on tax revenue. That's called budget deficit. Right? That's normally like how governments say they want to get rid of the budget deficit and so and so. But we can see now some of the I told you main disadvantage of private government on state business is mainly the corruption, the political influence. Sometimes as a form of privatization, what they do, some people are arguing that they point out that this money where it goes. Sometimes there are deals between these they are taking place. This entire 9.1 billion US dollars are not going to the sometimes of the government. Sometimes you can see right now the very popular these days that that ICJC, the international the papers, Panama Papers, Pandora Papers. You can see how many like international leaders are normally accused by this international journalist, right? With the evidence they are providing, supported by millions of documents are there to prove different politicians in different countries, right? Including Brazil, including Brazil, Russia, including all the countries. You can see there are so many accusations are there for different political leaders at different countries, including Sri Lanka also. So you can see that means there's a huge, like a normal general public, there will be so many some people are thinking what happened to this money? What happened to this public funds, right? So they are selling to private sector. So what happened to this money? Where it goes to? They say it will be reduce the budget deficit, definitely, but no, they must have some transparency. That's why some political leaders, you can see how much the assets they have bought from all over the world, right? Apartments and sometimes offshore companies. So you can see so much of, but 600 billion US dollar, there was a fraudulent activities that goes on. Like that's actually happened everywhere. This is the main kind of a curse to the world, right? Because this tax money must be goes to the welfare of the economy. If this happen, I think the world poverty, like justice, everything can be properly. We can manage the economy, but that shortage of money, you can see, make huge economic problems everywhere. Economic problems, recession, so many problems, right? Poverty. This is the very bad influence from the politicians. You can see. I think this is time to actually go for everyone must be take care of this. As I told you, the meritocracy and the pragmatism, honesty. These principles must be there in a good governance. So good governance is important for a country's become a prosperous. There are very good countries are there, like in the world, like very some countries now, like especially you talk about some American countries, US countries, European countries, there are very excellent examples are there in the world which provide good governance, like Singapore. You can see those leaders influence on like leaders like Lee Kuan Yew, right? In China, like a legendary leader. So these are influence, good examples for all politicians to taken into the consideration, right? So what I'm saying, this is their main money. They're saying the objective of the privatization is to use this money to actually reduce their budget deficit. So one of the motives of the privatization is that the airports are likely to be run more efficiently in the private sector, right? So that they've already, that's why they accept in that if the airport run by private sector, it will be more efficient, right? According to Ahmed Bulka, the director of the operations of the Department of Civil Aviation, the Sharjah International Airport, Dubai. So he says, quoted, when privatization comes, there will be pressure for further productivity gains. And airport operations will need to be even more innovative and adapt to new technologies to stay competitive, unquote. So like that, that's how the director mentioning here, even with the international competitiveness coming, the airport operations will be more innovative. Right? Therefore, new technology. For example, I think we have a good evidence. Even our also like a business class, VIP lounge are there in airports. There we have the the people. If you want to have a sleep, there are some facilities. Sometimes we have if you want to watch a movie, There are VR facilities they are providing, right? Then also there are Sparsilon and so many like amenities are there inside. Like this kind of very competitive now. Not only in the business class, not only in the while flying, even then the ground facilities also there, like a checking, red carpet, baggage handling, checking, everything, security, everything, superb services they are provided. Therefore, it should be very competitive. That's why must have a good private sector control. I think must even public sector also you can do it, but we have to be very, very innovative, and I think we need more technological and high quality supportive services being expected in those areas. So you can see here the airlines, Air Arabia. Question number 1, they're asking what is meant by the term privatization. Why were government keen to maintain the state control airports until recently? Why they keep? Because recently on they have started to sell it to private sector, because it's a kind of like having a national flag carrier. It's important for a country, right? Because that's giving their kind of a sovereignty. Like we have our own airline services, right? But maintaining airline is not an easy task. There are so much of overhead cost is there to bear, right? This one like not like simple things. So you have to maintain this very well, right? Engine, everything overall. So sometimes you have to, like high maintenance cost, the staff cost, everything will be very high. And describe 2 possible reasons why government should want to privatize their airports. They are giving these reasons. Okay. So I'll show you the main the answers for this question. They're asking what's the first of all definition of privatization. The privatization meaning. They are giving something. Imagine if you sell something to the government-owned property to the private sector, we call the privatization, right? So, right, I'll show you what's the reason. Okay, we go to the question number, active number 2. You can see. What is meant by the term privatization? Privatization is the process of transferring public sector resources, such as public corporations, to the private sector. In this case, a number of airports and airport facilities have been privatized. An application they are giving, for example, 2013, the Brazilian government raised 9,100 million by privatizing 2 major airports ahead of the 2014 World Cup. Right. Why were government keen to maintain the state control airport until recently? Okay, Shiven, can you read the answer?
Yes. Governments have historically preferred to keep control of businesses operating airports. Even as recently as 2006, only about 2% of the world's airports were owned or managed by the private sector. The reason for this is because airports are considered as strategically important to the nation. If the provision of a particular service is vital to the well-being and security of the nation, it's considered desirable for the government to maintain control so that continuity of supply and quality can be guaranteed.
Yeah, that's the thing. So main important thing is vital. Why is a national important, strategically important? Strategically important is main reason. Airports are considered strategically important to the nations. Strategically, because in case, imagine in case of a attack, in case of you can see like what happened recently in Afghanistan. So people are waiting to actually migrate from Afghanistan. They are waiting to actually enter into a place. So I think the US aircraft, they provide their like a great service in that case. They facilitate people to actually to evacuate from the country. Therefore, airlines are really important in case of, I think, for example, like a terrorist attack or whatever situation. So you must be able to enter some airlines, operate the airport and everything, enter into the airport, and then you must be able to take the refugees out, and then like rescue missions and even sometimes, diplomats sometimes have to save, right, from the embassy people, Russian embassy, American embassy, Indian embassy, like that. So those people must be able to safely evacuate from the country. So therefore, airport operations must be under control of the government. Because what happens if the government doesn't have the control to open and close the airport, then there will be anyone can go anytime, anyone can come anytime. So there will be very fiasco will be there. So therefore, in order to control these things, government must have some kind of participation in the decision making of the airport. That's right, strategically important. Like defense. like Army, Navy, Air Force, like that. That also must be within the government control, right? You can't give to private sector person because it's really important. Okay, question number 3. Leeway, can you read the question number 3 answer? Describe the possible reasons why government won't privatize. Leon, can you read?
One motive for privatization is to raise money. If the government sells a public corporation such as an airport, the money can be used by the government. In this case, for example, the Brazilian government plans to sell more airports to raise money to help reduce its budget deficit. Another possible motive for privatization is that airports are likely to be run more efficiently in the private sector. According to Ahmed Bukala, Director of Operations at the Department of Aviation, Sharjah International Airport in the UAE, when privatization comes, there will be pressure for further productivity gains, and airport operators will need to be even more innovative and adopt new technologies to stay competitive. Therefore, in the private sector, businesses will serve the public better because if they don't, they risk going bust.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice reading. So mainly that's why this government want to privatize because of these reasons. This is an analyzed question. Possibly this kind of a questions are coming from analyzed 6-mark questions in exams. Sometimes in a paper you can ask, okay, analyze two reasons why government want to privatize their airport, the airport case study, right? So you say two benefits, 2 reasons why you want to analyze. Sometimes first reason they are giving in order to make some money. So government can use that money to reduce their budget deficit. Budget deficit they can reduce by this money to generate income. They are doing this thing, selling national assets. And also another reason is they want to increase the efficiency, with the private sector. You can see if we compare the government hospital and the private hospital, you can see the efficiency, the quality, the hygiene condition, everything. I think private sectors are really they are ahead of the public sector. Compared with the government banks and the private banks, also you can see the private bank have some kind of competitive advantage over the public sector banks, because at the public sector banks sometimes they have more like a demand. A lot of people are there in order to get the service, but private sector don't have that kind of a services. Like for example, we can see like the HSBC bank is like a multinational company. So they are like in term as the world's best, corporate banking, right? So like that, and also Deutsche Bank also like that. So they are providing excellent service for their customers, best customer service banker in the world. So like that. So these things are really important. That's why if you have this thing in the public sector, you can't expect this kind of excellent customer service. But private sector, we can always expect that efficiency customer service because of their lack of competition. Right. Let's go to the MCQ. They're asking for MCQ. Question number 1. You also can answer your one, right? An industry where efficiency is improved if there is just one operator is which of the following? In an industry where efficiency is improved is if there is just one operator is which of the following? A, segmented industry. B, saturated industry. C, natural monopoly. D, oligopoly. Yeah, I think two-student Diana and Talia very good. They gave the correct answer. Natural monopoly is the correct answer. That's why industry where efficiency improved if there's just one operator, that natural monopoly. For example, naturally you have that monopoly. Naturally you have that sector. Imagine your land, you have the gas deposit, or let's say gold deposit. So naturally you have the monopoly because other land they don't have that gold or diamond. You have that diamond, right, deposit in the country like that. So naturally you become the monopoly. Sometimes that area only had the world. You may see all the sometimes gas, oil, everything they are listed with the Middle East countries like that. Okay, the next question, second one. Which of the following is a feature of the public corporation? A, it is owned by a board of directors. It is funded by the government. C, it aims to maximize profit. D, it is not accountable to anyone. So I got 3 answers from you. Okay, the correct answer is B. Good, excellent, given by Minsadi, Keshani, Tal. Very good. They give the correct answer. B is the correct answer. It is funded by the government. Question number 3. The transfer of public sector's resources to private sector is called. Transfer of public sector resources to private sector is called what? A, nationalization, B, rationalization, C, segmentation, D, privatization. So I got here 2 answers, correct? Yes, again, Keshan means very good. D, privatization. Privatization, we learned it today, privatization. If you sell your government property to private sector, we call privatization, right? Question 4, last one. Which of the following is a reason against the public ownership of the business? Reason against. Disadvantage of a public ownership, they're asking. Public corporations may be too large and difficult to control. A. B. Public corporations cannot raise enough funding. B. C. Government cannot employ business people. D. Public corporations cannot employ overseas employees. Okay, the correct answer, I got 4 answers correct. Yes. Okay, means the Talia, Keshani, right? Everything, I think. They are given answers. A is the correct answer. Public corporation may be too large and difficult to control. Yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, I think here Lee also again mentioning his ideas regarding, for example, IMF wants, before it gives loans for a country to privatize its highway systems. Yeah, so it's more beneficial for a country to privatize its highway or not. They're asking his concern. It is actually not it's a IMF regarding also, and also they actually it's as a result of the highway projects, everything actually constructed with the Chinese loans. So definitely that's why we have mainly a privatized method called build, operate, and transfer. So they build the highway and they operate in the highway for, I think they are operating it for about, let's say, another 50 years. And then after that, they take in their money, because since now any single cent that we are earning from the highway are not belongs to Sri Lankan government. It goes to China construction company. They build the highway, then they operate in the highway for another, let's say, 100 years. And then after 100 years, all the money they invest, let's say $1 billion or 2 billion, they can recover and they can earn profit with that 100 years. And after that, they can transfer the property back to the government. So I think Sri Lankan government can own the highway after 100 years. So, but this still actually worthwhile, because if Sri Lankan government plans to build this highway with their own money, this I think like a dream, because if we have huge financial troubles are there, that's why I think some government taking good actions, good decisions to build the infrastructure with the aid of foreign investment, and then let them to operate the business and then transfer later on. Like that's a very good thing, because we are using, right? Everyone actually using the highway system is very efficient to transportation and all, right? Okay, then from that we are winding up our session. So next session I'm going to talk like a big, like a chapter review of this privatization, and the chapter review like a big case study. I'm going to expect you to discuss the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. What happened to that? We'll do it on our next session. Okay, thank you very much. See you in my next session. Thank you then. Bye.